What's up, dudes? Alright. Promised a Ripsquad beat tutorial. The tutorial for the beat that I just recently posted. And I think we got pretty close regarding likes. So we're gonna do that today. And yeah, let's just hop right into it. Alright, so we're going to break this up into the different sections of the beat. We're going to start off with the melodies. Here we have our first little lead. Sorry, I don't know. A thing you want to remember regarding melodies is that Ripsquad is, or I don't know. They are fans of square waves and sine waves, so there are a lot of both of those in the melodies, and this one right here is a squarish melody preset that I found in the Basic Edits pack that I really like a lot. So yeah, here it is. Here's the main melody. Alright, this probably sounds pretty familiar. That's because it is the melody for, what's it called, Gotham City. And here, I'll change this really quick so you can hear it better. So yeah, all that I did to it was I put gross beat, half speed, turn the volume down to 50% so it sounds like there's another part of the melody in there when it's really just a lower octave, and then I EQ'd the low end so that it didn't interfere with the 808. For the second melody, I have massive, and I have two different massive melodies, as you can see. This one, however, is a sine-ish wave. It's the Helsinki preset. It's one of the default presets that you get with massive. So this is what that sounds like. Yeah. What I did to it was I put this plugin, Deadx, which is a very, very, very good plugin to have when you're making melodies, and I used the Crush little preset right here, and I drew it in at parts where the most kind of emotional notes in the melody were, so that just enunciates them. Because a big thing that Ripsquad does is they use very emotional melodies. I don't know how they do it. Maybe they're just sad all the time. And of course I did the EQ and everything. And then for the second massive, it's the same mixer track, but I just added these low notes right here. So this is what that sounds like. So yeah, those are your melodies. Just remember, a lot of the times they like to use the square wave kind of sounding leads for their melodies, and then they also have the backup. The second melodies are really more to just add a better feeling to the melodies and mixes it up a little bit so it's not as boring and bland. So the next thing we're gonna get into is our drums. Okay, I have this hi-hat here. It's a hi-hat I use pretty much all the time. Maybe I'll mix it up if I'm feeling crazy. Just a little hi-hat. Here, I'll do this. So it sounds like, and I turn the out up a little bit so that it's more of a clicky sound. So hi-hats are kind of simple, really. They have these little triplet things in the beginning, and right here is when the snares and clap hits. and then you do like a simple roll. I have my thing at 1/6 beat right there. That's really good for doing these kind of fast rolls right here. And I have a lower hi-hat hitting at some points, at just random points when I feel like it's right. There's really no set point where you should place them, because it's really all just by ear. It's a bunch of trial and error when you're doing anything regarding beats, making beats, doing the drums, whatever. So yeah, we have that. And we have the triplets. You can do that by going to the 1/6 beat, and we'll go over here. And you zoom in a little bit, and every two of these little steps right here is going to be a triplet. So, but what I did here, I lost my place. What I did here, I have these hitting normally, and then I have the triplets going down here, so that you get the higher hats hitting, and then you have the lower hi-hats hitting. And this sounds pretty cool, I think. Then I have this right here. You know, bringing them up sometimes for those rolls at the end of the bar is pretty. You know, it just sounds all right. Let me try to find. All right, right here, you have sort of the spilling effect that I think they do sometimes, and it's pretty simple. You go to 1/4, come over here. Oh, it's not good. You just put down one little step right there when you're in 1/4. Alt U, and then you bring it to where there's 4 chopped up right there. So then it's gonna sound like. And then if you want them to spill, just, that's all there is to it. There's not much variation in my hi-hats. I'm not a huge fan of switching things up. Maybe I'll change an 808 for the verse, maybe for the second hook, but I just don't really see a point. I think all the weight, so to speak, of your beat is held in the melodies and the variation in those. So we have our clap and our snare right here. So one thing I noticed is that Ripsquad is highly influenced by DP beats. He has really good drums. Sometimes he has even better melodies. You know, he's like a legend, I guess. But yeah, I have a clap from his drum kit and snare. These are like, if they're not using these two together, they're using the chop snare. But you will mostly hear this snare in all of their beats. So let me go over here. This is the pattern I've drawn out for the claps and snares. Nice. Right, it's pretty simple. The only thing that you need to do is adding in these little fill snares right here. A good way to know when to do that is when you have your 808 and your kick. Listen for spots where there's sort of empty space, and then fill in with your snare. And I usually like to keep mine within 2 steps from a kick, so it gives it a nice little bounce. And I guess while we're here, we'll go over the 808. No, it's just a simple short 808. What they do a lot is they add these slides. They'll either be in the beginning of the 808 pattern, leading up into the first hit of the 808, like where the kick comes in, or they'll put them at the end, which gives it like a nice rising effect into the kick for the next bar. Kick, it just follows. No, it just follows the 808. I don't have it hitting on the slides because you don't really get that effect as much. It just sounds like a higher note. So next we have our hat. this hat that I listen to them use a lot. It's just an open hat. You probably can find this in any trap drum kit. I just have it hitting each 8 steps, and it just keeps it moving. Alright. Last thing I want to talk about regarding the drums, even though it isn't really drums, you can classify it as drums, is your transitions and your hits. So for each section that comes in the hook, I like to add 3. One of them is a DP Beats drop, then a little sound I have in a drum kit, and then a crash. For this sound, all it is reverb and delay, delay. And then I have this riser right here, which leads into that. Before we talk about mixing, we'll talk about our gross beat and love filter effects and transitions. So this one right here, before the drop, I have a love filter, and all it is the PC low pass plus phaser preset, and that's pretty much it. And it just makes it sound like this. I have that 2 times. I have it before the second hook comes in, and the beginning. Other thing I do is the 50% half speed gross beat for the verse. Let me do this. At the end, I do that same half speed 50% thing, and then I have a gate right here, and then a vinyl turning off sound right there. How you get a gate? Gross beat, half beat gate. That's it. Vinyl turning off. Go to the presets. I think it's momentary. Yeah, momentary. Vinyl off, and you automate it. Put it wherever you want. It's good for your drops. Good for the end of the beat. Even though end of the beat really doesn't matter. It's just a nice touch. Makes it sound a little more professional. Makes you seem like you know what you're doing. So now we're gonna talk about our drums, or how to mix our kicks and 808s. So for kicks, what I usually do is, after I have it all laid out, I go Control A, then I hold Alt, and I scroll wheel up here. Scroll wheel up all the way till the velocity is at max. Make sure it's on velocity and not like pan or pitch, because you'll know, but just don't do it. Make sure it's on velocity. And then I go over to the mixer, go over to EQ, cut out a little bit of the low ends, not too much, and right around here, I'll show you. As you can see right here, that's where it is most present at the end. So that's where I just raise it up a little bit. And then I go to the 4th little band right here, and I give it a little nudge right there. So it's a little more punchy and whatever. So now for the 808. 808, really don't do anything to it in here. The piano roll, velocity, I go over to the EQ, and then I just bump it up right here at the end. All these bands, I just raise them up, and this is what it's going to sound like. And there are beats where, like, a really, like, just heavy 808 is good, and then there's beats where the lead, the melodies are just too present, so you just have to tone it down. That's what I did. I just bring it down a little bit. And for master, what I did is limiter and soft clipper. I probably won't go too much into detail right there about that because it's kind of a secret. But yeah, this is a lot of your punchiness right here. These two give your beat that kick that it needs. So that's pretty much the beat. That's how to make a Ripsquad beat. It kinda, I don't know if I really informed anyone at all, but if I did, maybe share this with someone who's trying to get this style down. I mean, not saying I have it down, because this is probably some of the hardest stuff I've ever tried to make, but sometimes there's a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel, and I make something that's half decent. So if you guys enjoyed, leave a like. Also, leave a comment, because I like hearing from you guys, knowing you guys are still there. If you're not subscribed, please do that as well. I think we're coming up on 1,000 here. I think within the next 250 something subscribers. That'd be cool. But yeah, I hope you guys learned something. Maybe you didn't enjoy, but maybe in the off chance you did enjoy, stay tuned, and I will put out more eventually. Thank you guys so much. That was the Ripsquad tutorial.